Roadmap, Benzinga's NFT show. We've got a great show today. We're going to talk about that Super Bowl and what was and what wasn't in the world of crypto and NFTs. We'll also be talking about some upcoming mint dates that we have now, some projects that have been on our radar. We've been talking about them. We now have mint dates and mint prices. We'll take a look at the artwork and those projects. And we'll also be talking about the top NFT news out there, including some of the big movers of last week. Everyone stay tuned. This is the Roadmap. All right, everyone. Yeah, this is the Roadmap, Benzinga's NFT show. We've got so much to talk about as we previewed last week. We had one of the biggest sporting events, the Super Bowl, and there was tons of rumors, tons of conversation about what was going to happen during the big game. So without further ado, let me bring on the man who I talked to about all those rumors and all that news. We have Benzinga's own Brian Moir.
Hola.
So Brian, before we get started today, I have to remind everyone that today's show is sponsored by FTX US, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world in terms of trading volume and daily users. The FTX app is used by over 6 million people that buy crypto and NFTs, no transaction or withdrawal fees from your phone or computer. And that FTX US trading platform offers NFT trading on both the Ethereum and Solana blockchains with no gas fees. You can find out more by clicking on the link in the description below and also pinned to the chat right now. And Brian, speaking of FTX, I mean, we talked about this last week, right? That our friends from FTX were going to have a Super Bowl commercial, and they were also going to be giving away Bitcoin based on what time that commercial aired. So, Brian, that commercial with FTX featuring Larry David, it was one of the most talked about commercials, and I thought really well done and really funny. What did you think of that commercial?
Yeah, I really liked it. I liked the other Coinbase one where I had no idea what was going on with it.
the bouncing cool. around on the screen. So Brian, I mean, I was way off with my guess on FTX. I thought that commercial was going to air like 9 o'clock. And it actually, I shared the tweet here. 7:54 was the actual time. So they're giving away 7.54 Bitcoin to anyone who retweeted and entered that contest. Fingers crossed here, of course. But again, props to our friends at FTX for getting that Super Bowl commercial out. And then, Brian, you, of course, mentioned the other one that I've heard so many people talk about, Coinbase. Not a 30-second ad. They did a full minute, right?
It's like an hour.
Yeah. It seemed like it would last forever, which was probably good because it gave a lot of people time to figure out what was going on. So $14 million is the estimated cost that they spent for that 60 seconds to have a QR code bounce around, right? And for many of us in the crypto space and the NFT space, I think we knew what was happening right away, right? I grabbed my phone so fast, Brian. I mean, I already had it out because I was live tweeting commercials during the Super Bowl. But I scanned that QR code and I was hoping, hey, it's going to be the Coinbase NFT marketplace. Let's go. Let's start buying NFTs. It wasn't, but still.
Just disappointed. Like I ran into as I was in the kitchen finishing what we made for dinner because my wife and I stayed home. And I saw it on my phone. And of course, I couldn't do anything for my phone. So I ran into the bedroom where we were watching it. And then I started scanning it and got it. And I was like really disappointed, but she had no idea what the hell was going on. She was like, I don't get it. Like, that was stupid. Why? And I was like, well, I bet a lot of people scanned that. And then a lot of people were disappointed like me because we didn't really get anything out of it.
Yeah. And you know, that's the key point, Brian, is my takeaway, right? Is that I scanned as fast as I could. And what did I get out of it? Nothing, possibly something.
Something
but
to talk
nothing.
about.
Something to talk about. There you go. So, and what did they get? A ton of new users potentially, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they spent money on, of course. And also, Brian, I saw the data yesterday. Their chief product officer actually said that they had 20 million visitors to their website in 1 minute. So 1 minute after that commercial aired or during, 20 million people. In the month of December, they had 77 million visitors. So around a quarter of what they normally get in a month, they got in 1 minute, thanks to the power of the Super Bowl. So obviously $14 million is, no small amount, but it looks like potentially money well spent. And also their app, it went all the way up to number 2, I believe, on the US app charts for downloads. So again, getting their word out there. We also saw, crypto.com. So FTX, Coinbase, crypto.com, all doing ads. And then Brian, the surprise one for me, and the one that I think a lot of people loved because it had so much going on, was the eToro one, right? So the eToro commercial, it featured a Shiba dog, right? That we saw lots of different crypto communities fight over which coin it was actually supposed to be. But then also hidden in that commercial, which no one seemed to find until eToro tweeted out, there was a Bored Ape from the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT collection. So Brian, I didn't see this the first time.
I didn't either.
There it is on screen, right? You have to really kind of slow down, zoom,
So you
look in
gotta
the
look
corner
back
there.
from it.
Yeah, so they tweeted out and said that they brought a friend along. So that is a Bored Ape that belongs to their founder and CEO. So here we have the image of the actual NFT, right? So there it is. That's his, and he featured it in the commercial. Brian, there was all kinds of talk, right? That we were going to see Bored Apes, in a commercial. We were going to see Bored Apes as part of the halftime show. That stuff didn't happen, but instead we got a 1 second image of a Bored Ape in a commercial. I mean, is that kind of a small consolation prize or just kind of a non-event here?
Yeah, it's just like, well, here you guys go. Quit talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, now people can't say that a Bored Ape wasn't in the Super Bowl commercial. I mean, because technically, so I guess on a technicality, we'll take it. But eToro has also mentioned that maybe they're going to get into the NFT space. So maybe this was just a glimpse of what they have coming. So again, watch out OpenSea. There is tons of competition out there or coming your way soon. But I mean, the Super Bowl is very exciting. We also saw the Bud Light Next commercial that featured the Nouns DAO, right? Which is something we talked about, those Nouns glasses. That was really cool for me to see. And technically that was the first then NFT ever featured in a Super Bowl commercial. So a bit of history there. What did you think of that Bud Light ad?
It was really neat. I saw bits and pieces of it, then I had to rewatch it because I wasn't really paying attention when I first saw it. But I mean, it was kind of what you expected, I guess. It was pretty neat. I still kind of go back to what I was saying on the episode before the Super Bowl, and hoping that this will kind of push the Nouns DAO out there a little bit more, and we'll have more DAOs actually kind of follow what they're doing, because I don't know why, but I really like their style. I really like how they have done everything, and just the fact that it's never going to end. And it's a daily auction. So, maybe a couple years from now when people might forget about it or whatever, you might be able to snag one for really cheap, just out of nowhere kind of thing. So I don't know. I think it's really cool. And hopefully we see a lot more of them because of the commercial in the future.
Yeah, definitely. And, so something else, Brian, is we got to give a shout out. We talked about a couple players, right? So winning the Super Bowl, and it wasn't his first Super Bowl ever, Von Miller, defensive player for the Los Angeles Rams. And we highlight him because he is the owner of a couple Bored Apes. So let me get this cowboy on the screen, right? This is his Bored Ape that has been his profile picture before. He also owns 2 mutant serums that he has not used yet to make those Mutant Ape Yacht Club NFTs. So I'm wondering when we get news or anything on that. But kind of cool to see someone, who's so heavily involved in the NFT space as far as athletes, win a Super Bowl, tweet about it, be congratulated by the community. And then also we saw Odell Beckham Jr., who has, a Deadfellas NFT as his profile picture. He also owns a CryptoPunk. And Brian, I don't know if you saw this picture. I just actually remembered about it to add it in here. But during the celebration, he once again wore his CryptoPunk. So here it is.
I didn't see that. No.
With the Lombardi trophy, there is Odell Beckham Jr. on the right with his CryptoPunk on his shirt. I mean, talk about a flex. Super Bowl champion, cool. CryptoPunk owner. I love it. And not the first time. He also, wore it this way before. So we talked about that last week. Brian, I mean, Odell was having a great game. I was really rooting for him. I may have had some money on him to win MVP. And then of course he got hurt. Which was very unfortunate. Sounds like it is
I just needed him to score one, so I was fine.
I know he did get that touchdown. Yup. So good call, Brian. I did get some money off of that, but he didn't hit the over on the yards I needed. He didn't win MVP. So, I mean, that would have been cool, to hit those things. But again, my hat's off to him. He is now a Super Bowl champion. But Brian, I think that's what we've got for Super Bowl. Anything else that really caught your eye or, to talk about with the Super Bowl here?
The halftime show was really awesome. It made me think about, back when I was a kid listening to rap, or I guess a teenager listening to rap, and all those people were my favorites. So I really liked that in, sneaking Kendrick Lamar. But it was kind of overwhelming on the sense of we definitely maybe got a little overexcited about how crypto and NFT focused it would have been. But then if you kind of look back in retrospect, it makes sense. There's not really much else to do besides commercials and stuff like that. I was just hoping I would have seen a lot more stuff maybe on social media and different announcements, different drops, and just see a lot more trending stuff than just, the usual, just the halftime show, blah, blah, blah. It's a little underwhelming on just that small aspect of it. Overall, I thought it was good. I liked it.
Yeah, and I mean, looking back now, I feel like maybe we should have thought that all along, the fact that there were, so many performers, that there wasn't going to be room or time to really do anything NFT related. And also, it's not like it was just Eminem and Snoop Dogg performing, who both own Bored Ape. There were other performers who, to my knowledge, don't own any NFTs. So what would that have, looked like? Would they have just kind of, stood on the stage watching? Would they have, bought some before? Would that have been part of it? I mean, and that performance, I mean, Brian, you mentioned it. Yeah, it took me back, years ago, listening to all those songs. And, I could have listened to that halftime performance for so much longer. And then it ended and it was like, oh shit, it's over. They all performed, I guess. So there probably wouldn't have been time to really get into, anything crypto or NFT related. So, but it was a great game and also a great halftime performance. So, and again, we did get some NFT and crypto connections via the commercials, at least. So a lot for us to talk about last week. And of course, today to wrap it up. But I think that's going to do it for Super Bowl talk. Brian, let's get into something we talk about a lot is the top 10 from last week. So the top 10 NFTs by sales volume. We did have a couple new ones on the list here. So we had Karafuru was number 1 at 54.3 million. Pixelmon, number 2 at 52.7. And then CryptoPunks came in 3rd. Cool Pets 4th. Axie 5. Bored Ape 6. No surprise. Azuki fell from 1 down to 7, and then CloneX and Mutant Ape, and then number 10, I believe it's Crabata. So Brian, I'm going to break down a couple of these because they caught my eye. So Karafuru topping the list. This one came out around 12 days ago. Now it's a collection of 5,555, floor price of 3.15. So it's an interesting one. And then Pixelmon has really been talked about a lot. And we might get to that later on in today's episode of these NFT projects with huge followings starting their mint price way too high, right? So Pixelmon had a Dutch auction. The starting price was 3 ETH. And now we have a floor of around 1.4. So people are literally I mean, underwater from where they got in, depending on when they bought, in this Dutch auction. And then CryptoPunks, Brian, did you see the record CryptoPunk? So
Yeah.
CryptoPunk 5822, for anyone out there watching or listening, it's one of the rare alien punks. So there are only 9 of these alien punks in existence, and it sold for 8,000 ETH, or $23.7 million. Brian, that is a huge price tag, and with that, we then saw a little bit of a run on CryptoPunks. And then, of course, Cool Cats and Cool Pets saw good volume because of the Cool Pets launch. The surprising one for me, though, Brian, Crabata coming in at 10th. This is based on the Avalanche blockchain. It's a play-to-earn game. Sales volume 18.2 million. Brian, I don't know a ton about Avalanche, but this game,
they just started
caught my attention.
rocking.
Yeah. Tell me more about Avalanche.
Well, I mean, they I just saw an article that Avalanche is now trending up because DeFi is kind of coming back. And I've actually seen a lot more mentions on different parts of Twitter that DeFi is kind of making not necessarily the same kind of run, but we're seeing the NFT pretty much only focus now kind of expand back to include tokens and crypto into NFT, and both or vice versa, or NFTs with tokens or tokens with NFTs. So finally we're having this mesh that it should have been all along, and maybe we'll see a lot more of these EIP or ERC 1155 protocols where you can have fungible and non-fungible and tokenized assets all in the same. So Avalanche is just another DeFi protocol with staking and all that kind of stuff, just like Solana. We're just seeing a lot more rise in it, and that probably is why this NFT project had a big boom, because AVAX shot up like 40% or something like that the last little bit in a very short time.
Yeah, and I have the website pulled up in my browser because I've been meaning to do some research on this game and find out if maybe I want to get involved. But, play to earn, we've got the typical, mining, looting, breeding, and battling. Obviously looks a little bit similar to Axie. 64 breed types. It looks like we're still in the early phase here, though. So they have a demo for Windows, Mac, and Android. They have a token, their own in-game currency, and then also, the NFTs that are playable. So this is interesting. I'm going to need to do some more research on it, Brian, but it's always kind of nice to see something non-ETH related pop up in the top 10, right? Usually it's just Axie. Occasionally it'll be something on like the Wax blockchain, right?
Yeah.
But lately we've been getting these other ones, right? Like Solana, now Avalanche. It's nice to see kind of some difference and some diversification. And that's why when we did our interview recently with Solana Legend, which we actually replayed yesterday too, Solana, those NFTs have been kicking it. It's an area I want to get more exposed to because I want more diversification in my portfolio. So I'm definitely going to be checking out Crabata. If anyone out there listening or watching has experience with Avalanche NFTs, hit us up, let us know, because maybe we can feature that in a upcoming episode. Brian, I tuned into a cool Twitter Spaces yesterday. It was actually hosted by Coinbase, I believe, and it was with a bunch of the women in the NFT space, right? So it actually featured Reese Witherspoon, right? Well-known actress and entrepreneur, and then women behind, projects. So we had like Deadfellas, World of Women, Long Neck Ladies. And it was really cool just to hear like their perspectives, the different, inspirations for their artwork, and really kind of get a spotlight. And from an investment, perspective, Brian, we've seen a run on a lot of these women-led projects, right? So to me, I was able to kind of take notes, right, and listen and see, okay, which of these projects have taken off, people know about, but they still haven't taken off all the way, right? Because obviously, World of Women, out of my price range right now, it's taken off a ton. But some of these other ones, I still think, there's room to grow. because they have that, that factor. They have a good community, a good roadmap. So, something I'm interested in. What do you think of some of these women-led projects, Brian?
I mean, I think they're awesome. I like the it'd be really weird to say like, no, I don't like projects that are headed by women, but I really do like that fact that we're having a lot more projects that are focused, headed up by women, and they're kind of making this I would agree that the crypto space has been kind of inclusive over the past couple of years to be mainly, male dominated, because it's just maybe it's because of like how it all is laid out, or I couldn't really tell you why. I'm not a social scientist or someone that could really explain the difference, but there's just not as many women-led projects or really women in the space, so it's really awesome to see a lot more of them kind of take charge, take ownership, and kick ass. Because this crypto and blockchain, NFT, any part of this space, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. You could be a part any part of the country, any part of the world, any demographic, anything whatsoever, and you can make a name for yourself in this space. And you can either tell people who you are, or you can be completely anonymous and be the creator of Bitcoin and no one knows who it is, but it's changed every single person's life that you'll ever talk to for the for the remainder of time. So I mean, it's pretty cool. I really like that we're seeing a lot more, and they're taking charge of it and being taking I already said that. Yeah. Yes, love it.
Yeah, no, and I mean another good use case of Twitter Spaces, right? An area that we've tried to grow with Benzinga. Brian, I know you're so active in the Twitter Spaces. I've been trying to listen in on more, right? I mean, obviously I've spoke, on some. We've, co-hosted, but sometimes it's cool to just listen, right? And get that perspective from other people, which is what the NFT community can be so much about. Different opinions, different artists, different perspectives. So that was really cool for me. Brian, one of the areas I mentioned, right, was that we have some controversy in the NFT space, right? So we have
Always.
some of these projects. Yeah, I mean, nothing new, but it seems like it's really coming heavily lately. So the biggest things I see are a lot of these projects have large followings, and then they're doing these high mint costs, right? And it's something that they're doing because they have the demand, right? Or they think they have the demand, but then they end up not having as many people maybe as they thought, or some of these NFT well-respected names say, no guys, like this isn't right, you shouldn't be doing this high mint cost, right? So I've seen a couple lately. We had Serial Club mint today, and they did a Dutch auction, and it just seemed like it was really high. Squiggles, which we talked about not too long ago, their mint, they actually ended up getting delisted from OpenSea. They had some transactions that were questionable from team members. Weather Report, which we'll get into on the upcoming mints, their former artist published a document today saying that he was only going to get 5% of royalties, and the two co-founders were going to get split 50%. So now there's a debate on whether or not Weather Report is going to make it. And then we also saw Jacked Ape Club, right, which was another ape derivative project where we actually had some influencers not disclose that they were influencers. The project minted, but then we saw the founders kind of walk away with the money, right? Which is something we never like to see. Was it a rug pull? Time will tell, I guess, because then we saw some other people, start to buy them up, and the floor price actually rose. Brian, what do you make of all this? I mean, I know I just rattled off a bunch, but there just seems like so much controversy to where if you're new to the space, how do you get into some of these mints? You're almost better off going to existing projects, right? Rather than trying to get in one and find one that's not going to rug.
No, I mean, I think you almost nailed it. I, whenever you go into a mint, and not financial advice, of course, but you need to keep something like this in mind. If you're going to be trading stocks, assets, options, NFTs, crypto, anything, with NFTs especially, if you're going into a mint, just know that at that moment is the most speculative the asset will ever be, especially NFTs. That being said, NFTs in it are on their own are speculative in general, because unlike cryptocurrency, unlike, say, we'll take one ether for example, one ether equals one ether, but one Bored Ape Yacht Club token does not equal another Bored Ape Yacht Club token. Everything's really subjective. So when you go into the minting aspect, say the mint price is 0.06, they mint out, then they're on OpenSea, and now they're going to be trading at 0.03 for the next 6 months. Do you hold on to it till it goes back up to 1.3, or do you get rid of it and try to move on, because you don't really want to hold something for 6 months unless the project keeps your attention, keeps you involved, and keeps you motivated to stay in. So I always wait till see things on OpenSea, see how much left is in the mint, and then go from there. I've minted a couple things, but I think I've only done 2 in my whole time where I made money off the mint specifically over buying or minting and holding for a while, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to provide, some education and guidance. And Brian, that's where, I try to be, as honest as possible. And, we don't provide financial advice. And like, I don't want to see anyone get hurt. I don't want to see anyone lose money. And that's where, like, I almost want to call people new to the space to look at existing projects that have been established. We know who the founders are. We know that they didn't walk away with the money. They're still active. The Discord's still active. The community's still active. Or they're, projects that maybe you can buy in with USD, right? And get some, some early experience with NFTs, right? Like Dapper Labs with Top Shot. Some of these other drops, right? It's so hard to get behind some of these projects that have these large followings, and then all of a sudden they say, hey, our mint price is going to be 4 ETH, or our mint price is going to be 1 ETH. Or, I mean, with the exception of Cool Pets, right? Because Cool Cats was established, their mint price was 0.5. I get that. When Mutant Ape Yacht Club launched, right, everyone got a serum, but they also did a Dutch auction, or a public launch, and that was a couple ETH. But again, I mean, those people have clearly made, a lot of money that minted then. But, I think that price was warranted because they had that community. They had already done a successful launch. I just really don't think some of these ones can, do these ones. Yeah, and we got Nifty Hunters in the chat saying, I believe in Jacked Ape Club. Bradley Martin took over the projects. Bradley Martin, I believe, has a huge following on Twitter, fitness person, I believe. He was active in that project and now seems to kind of, be in charge. And again, the floor price did go up, but they did have some questionable, influencers and questionable, group of founders. And, sometimes red flags are enough to just get me to steer clear of a project, right? And Brian, it's not like we only have like 5 projects to choose from, right? We got thousands. So,
unlimited number.
So if I pass on one, there's more to choose from. And,
Absolutely.
That's why anyone new to the space, I just want to remind you guys again to be cautious out there. I've seen a lot of people get burned over the past couple weeks. And unfortunately, when people are new to the space and they get burned, usually that turns them away forever, right? And that's not something I want, for the space, and to see NFTs continue to grow. We need to get more people involved in the space as well. So just a word of caution. Brian, I didn't even put it in my notes, but I was actually thinking that Metaverse, right? So you missed Thursday's episode last week. I had Mitch from Benzinga with me, and we opened some packs from NBA Top Shot and NFL all day, but we also spent some time in the Metaverse. So we played around in Decentraland, and I mean, Brian, it's a day doesn't go by that I don't see a headline or get to write about Decentraland, right? So today, I actually got to write about the Metaverse. The Atlanta Braves are going to be the first baseball team to put their stadium in the Metaverse, right? So they are going to create a virtual copy of their park. And the really cool thing here is for fans is they're going to have some Easter eggs and some scavenger hunts. And if you're able to, complete puzzles and win games, you can win prizes, right? Maybe some tickets, maybe some memorabilia. And again, it's not like it cost you money, you're just hanging out in the metaverse. And then also JP Morgan, one of the largest financial institutions out there, they launched a bank in the metaverse this week. And they also put out a 18-page report, which, Brian, I'm still reading and working on articles about it, talking about growth of the metaverse. They see it as a $1 trillion market size. That is insane, right? But something we've heard others say. But to hear JP Morgan say, yes, metaverse, $1 trillion, and they talk about the growth of work in the metaverse, right? Even saying people in other countries could work from the metaverse and not have to worry about moving, right? To the US or to other areas. So we could help, some emerging markets. It could also help with gaming companies, which obviously we've seen already. But what do you think, Brian? $1 trillion. I mean, is that just kind of hogwash, or is JP Morgan, on board here and that's a legit number in the future?
No, I think that's absolutely a legit number in the future. I mean, it's speculative. We say that word a whole lot. But I mean, it's JP Morgan first off. So there is a little bit of credibility behind that whole conglomerate. But also, there's no telling. Like $1 trillion, that's almost on the low end in the whole grand scheme of things of what it can be worth in the next 20 years. I mean, within the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see probably double one. I mean, 2 trillion. And who knows? It's going to be its own entire ecosystem. And Decentraland, Upland, Sandbox, and there's maybe a few others, but those three I think are the forerunners of this whole thing. And it's no telling where they're going to be, and they're definitely going to be way bigger than Facebook and all these other ones. So easy. 1 trillion easy.
And I mean, for those looking for more information, like I said, I'll have a couple articles out. We have one up on Benzinga right now about JP Morgan opening that bank in the metaverse. So you can find a link to that report with that article. Brian, so metaverse, huge talk, obviously. I want to get to some upcoming mints, right? That's something we always like to do on the show. And again, I stress, right? Not financial advice. Brian and I are not telling you to go out and mint these or buy these, right? We're providing the data, the dates, the mint cost, right? Some information. Oh, yeah, you reminded me. The New York Stock Exchange, they filed a couple patents, and they are possibly exploring the metaverse, right? I actually spoke to a representative from the New York Stock Exchange, a spokesperson, right? And this is the quote that they gave me, Brian. The New York Stock Exchange has no immediate plans to launch cryptocurrency or NFT trading. The New York Stock Exchange regularly considers new products and their impact on our trademarks and protects our intellectual property rights accordingly. So kind of a vague statement, right, that they don't have immediate plans, but they filed trademarks. So for those of you out there listening or watching, the New York Stock Exchange, one of the largest exchanges in the world, right, they filed trademarks to potentially launch virtual currency, a NFT marketplace, NFTs, virtual, events. That's huge, right? And we've talked about it recently with like McDonald's, Panera, all these companies where they file, and it doesn't mean that they will, but normally if you file a trademark, it either means you want to block other people from using your brand, or, you have intent to do something with it, right? So to me, I feel like there's intent here, right, Brian, that, maybe we see them launch, if hey, they can make money off of people buying and selling stocks, maybe they want a piece of people buying and selling NFTs. What do you think? Is the New York Stock Exchange going to take on OpenSea and Coinbase down the road?
Yeah, I think so. I think they'd be stupid not to form like kind of a tokenized version of stocks on their own. Like, anybody who is any ticker that goes through the NYSE, has a tokenized version to it. And then there you open up, this is legality and stuff like that. We're not lawyers or anything, but you can open up, futures, you can open up fractional shares. You can open up a ton of different things, even collateral against your tokenized stocks, because you have all your stocks in your portfolio. Then you also have a tokenized version of them. You give the tokenized version of them as collateral against like a loan or maybe your margin and stuff like that. I mean, there's endless possibilities what they can use it for. And you know what, New York Stock Exchange, that's free right there. You guys need consultants.
Yeah, we got Brian in the house giving some advice to the NYSE. And Brian, you made some great points there. And I mean, I would highlight with what you said, the IPO process, right? When a company decides to go public, they can kind of choose between listing on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, right? Are the two major ones. And there's disadvantages and advantages to both. But what if the New York Stock Exchange has an NFT marketplace and can make, that fractionalized trading option of your symbol, your ticker, your company, right, as shares, and the NASDAQ can't, right? That's a competitive advantage. And then also, AMC, right? They did where everyone who owned shares got an NFT, right? It was part of their Investor Connect program. And what if the New York Stock Exchange could be like the middleman for something like that, right? If you're publicly traded, we know who all your shareholders are. We can get that data and we can give all those people an NFT. So I really think there's strong use case here. And I was pretty excited to see. I mean, at first, Brian, when I saw the headline, I was like, oh, this is fake, right? The New York Stock Exchange files for NFTs. I was like, no way. So I had to dig in. And like I said, I was on the phone yesterday with the NYSE myself, right? Because I wanted to hear it from them. We were able to get an article out and to get that source, that spokesperson in the article. That's something Benzinga always tries to do, right? Is, get the source, make sure they're reliable. But great point there, Brian, on the New York Stock Exchange.
One more thing that they could do
ahead.
too, which is something I thought might be interesting. I'm just kind of coming up with it. But they could also take the tokenized version, and different time zones can all sync up to be like their preferable 8 to or like 9:30 to 4 p.m. open and close. It could be on all their times, but you can also have the amounts of trade and volume, everything match up to where it wouldn't change anything throughout the country, but everyone's on the same thing. I'm just saying, there's so many possibilities that I'm just actually excited. I'm very excited.
I know. Now we're excited, and that would give us a ton more to talk about in a future episode, Brian. Let's get to some upcoming mints, right? So, Brian, I mentioned this. We missed you on Thursday's show. I had Mitch fill in, one of Benzinga's great video team members here. I'm sure people had seen him before across other shows. And one of the things we did was we opened up some packs, right? So I had some NBA Top Shot and an NFL All Day pack. And Brian, I ripped open that NFL All Day pack, and I actually had a rare Patrick Mahomes moment.
What?
They don't have a marketplace yet, so I can't sell it. But people in the chat were saying, "Oh, that's going to be worth $1,000. That's going to be worth $2,000." I don't know what it's worth yet, but I was pretty excited. Well, guess what? There is another NFL All Day pack drop happening this week, and this isn't just any old pack, right? So at 4 p.m. today, for anyone on the closed beta list, so not if you're new, you had to already be on the list, they are dropping 32,400 packs, $59 each, and you get 4 moments in the pack, and at least one moment will be from the Super Bowl that we just watched on Sunday. So the very first ever Super Bowl moments from NFL All Day. And then on Friday, they are also launching a premium pack, which will be $259. No real details on this yet, but 2 drops this week, and the most they had done before that was 1. So it looks like maybe NFL All Day getting ready to fire on all cylinders and maybe get closer to a public launch. Brian, what do you think? Sports NFTs seem like they're really here to stay. NBA Top Shot kind of led the way, and now we have these NFL moments, launching. It is part of the problem here, though. Could it be a timing, right? The Super Bowl's over, the season's over. I mean, are we going to cool off here, and maybe they're going to see, not as much demand as they thought at the end of the season? What do you take on that?
We'll see. I mean, because each sport has their own diehard fans. So now maybe we'll run over to basketball and we'll see a lot more like with Top Shot and stuff like that. Another thing that I saw that LeBron, or not LeBron, maybe Dwight Howard. I'm gonna make sure you get the name right. Who it was made like $330 something thousand dollars betting Bitcoin on the Super Bowl, and he only bet Drake. It wasn't a basketball player. It was Drake. Sorry, but Drake made $381,000 from Super Bowl Bitcoin bets. And so I think we're going to see a lot more, crypto gambling now that there's a whole lot more sports betting, because I like football more than basketball, but I like to bet on basketball more than I like to bet on football because it's a lot more predictable. And I think with NFTs in this whole thing, not just for memorabilia, not just for collector's items, but with NFTs and cryptocurrency and in general, we're going to see a lot more betting move towards crypto as opposed to just fiat or, that secure ACH transfer, all that nonsense that's outdated and whatnot. You'll be able to verify people's location, age, all this other stuff. So I think we're going to see a big influx of that within this year.
Yeah, and speaking of tickets in the blockchain, Brian, I hadn't even looked yet. I'm gonna have to look after the show, but we did have where everyone who attended the Super Bowl got that free Ticketmaster NFL NFT, and I hadn't looked to see what those were selling for yet. But again, sports NFTs, I think are definitely here to stay and just gonna grow. Another mint that's coming up soon. This isn't per se a mint, but Brian, I don't think you had joined the show yet when we talked, or no, I think you did when we talked about CryptoBats, the Ozzy Osbourne inspired NFT. Yeah. Okay. So remember how we talked about how they had partnered with a couple other NFT groups, and eventually you were going to be able to do like this bite process. To create a mutant bat. I don't think you've seen this yet, Brian, but before you joined backstage today, we actually were watching this video and having a good laugh. Brian, I want to share this CryptoBats video, and to me, this is how you make a NFT hype video, right? Let's take a look at this, guys. I really enjoyed this, and I'm an Ozzy Osbourne fan, so hats off to him too.
Oh yeah, run it.
Do you hold NFTs but don't know what to do with them? Do you wish your JPEGs had a little bit more kapow? Introducing the new Mutant Bats biting utility, brought to you by Ozzy Osbourne. Using lines of code in the ERC 721 smart contract, you can have hours of fun. Simply visit CryptoBats.com, connect your wallet, and select the NFT victim you'd like to bite. The blockchain will magically create a mutant bat that you can call your own. Wow! And it doesn't stop there. Your cool new mutant bat will share the traits of both your crypto bat and the victim. Bite a selection of blue chip projects, including Bored Ape Yacht Club, Cryptodes, Subducks, Alien Friends, and Cyberkongs. Sweep the CryptoBats floor today on OpenSea. But don't bite off more than you can chew. Launches February 20th. CryptoBats can only bite once. Visit CryptoBats.com/bite for more information. This is not investment advice.
Brian, how about that? What an NFT commercial, right? And they even got Ozzy Osbourne to participate. He probably has no idea what NFTs are or what, an ERC token is, but they did get him to participate. Look at that. He looks so excited, Brian. He is ready. How much that cost? He is ready, right? And I didn't get into CryptoBats because I didn't make the whitelist, and that project took off. I think the floor price now is 1.25 ETH, but I think it's really cool that they partnered with these projects, right? And you're going to be able to combine. So if you have a CryptoBat and you have a Bored Ape, you can do the biting process. And I just kind of want to see what these look like, right? The mutant bats. I think they're going to look so cool. So I'm very excited about that. So that is February 20th. So that is first here on our list of, some upcoming things. February 21st, Sneaky Vampirus Syndicate, which is from Sneaky Vampire Syndicate, who were on a past episode. Oh, yeah. This is their next project, Brian, and 0.16 ETH is the mint cost. But if you own a Sneaky Vampire, you have been collecting or earning the blood token. So you will actually be able to pay less by utilizing that blood token. So I like that, right? You're rewarding existing members. The 0.16 I do think is a little high, but again, it's a well-established project. They've been successful. The new collection will have a supply of 12,545. I don't remember if I put any of these pictures into the overlay here, but they look really cool, right? The Sneaky Vampire Syndicate always reminded me a bit of here's a vamp. Yep, there we go. The Sneaky Vampire Syndicate always reminded me a bit of Adam Sandler's character in Hotel Transylvania. The artwork, but I always thought that this was really cool. So Brian, I mean, I'm interested in this. If I'm able to mint and get in at 0.16 or, maybe a little bit more, that has been a nice community, right? The Sneaky Vampire. Yeah. They also have that blood token, which they can continue to utilize. So that's one that's on my radar. What do you think or know about Sneaky Vampires?
Not much besides what we talked about. We kind of covered. I thought that they were really cool. I like the art. They have a lot of this neat utility. And I think the Bats project is one of the cooler ones out right now because they've collabed with a few other projects. I'm pretty sure Wall Street Bulls has a similar aspect to theirs, and we've talked on this show and like on Twitter Spaces with different projects that do have some sort of connection to other projects and written in the smart contract to where it's open-ended to where you can, if you hold this token address in your wallet, you'll actually get, either this NFT, this token will change, this NFT will change, or that one will do, or you'll get a whole new one, that kind of stuff. So I think that's really cool to include into projects because you not only get your community, you get their community, you get different ones, and everyone's kind of coming together, driving the price up, and everyone's having a good time. If you're a smart NFT token developer or a project, this is what you want to do because you're limiting yourself just by only your community. Like, might as well join forces or, have other people in. I think it's really cool. I like it. I can't wait to see what's next on the evolution of what's going to be the next hot topic, because every other week, every other project, there's something new and cool and exciting. And this is the last one. I think that's the most exciting to me so far.
Yeah, no, shout out to Wilberto Rodriguez in the chat. I know we've talked to him before with Wall Street Bulls during those interviews in the chat, and saying that they partnered with a lot of female projects. So he got whitelist spots due to owning World of Women. So, you heard me mention that Twitter Spaces. And now we have Sneaky Vampire, doing a female trait project, right? And, that's one of the things with Bored Apes, right? Is the Bored Apes were all, these male traits for the most part, which has led to some derivative projects that have been female apes because Bored Apes hasn't done a female launch themselves. So I really like Sneaky Vampire, doing this themselves, creating a whole nother way. Also, Crypto Dads, which I own, they did the Crypto Moms mint where you got a free mom for holding a dad. They're eventually, going to have the Crypto Tot down the road. But I really am looking forward to this mint. Brian, another one we talked about recently was Starcatchers, right? So Starcatchers, very cool artwork, big hyped project. Their mint date now is out February 22nd, a mint cost of 0.111 ETH, supply of 10,000. They just did a Spaces recently with Robotos, and I know the Robotos team well. I like that, right? That gives me some nice validation of the team. Because the last couple projects that we've seen that have these huge Twitter followings have ended up, not being the greatest ones to get into. So Starcatchers has over 77,000 followers, but we actually have like 100 in common, right? Between me and them, which I like seeing that, right? That means a ton of people in the NFT space, follow them. Look at that image right there. We got the backpack, the jacket, and that star. I mean, and that even that background. I mean, that is PFP-able right there. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. I like the colors. I like the pastel aspect to it. Yep.
Yeah. So again, that is Starcatchers, and that is February 22nd, 0.111. All right. So February 23rd, Brian, this is probably the biggest project that I have heard about or seen since Mecca launched a couple months ago, right? We have Invisible Friends. So Invisible Friends, February 23rd, 0.25 ETH is the mint cost, 5,000 supply. Their Discord is now locked because they want to fight off any, possible bot attempts when they do their mint. Last I looked, Invisible Friends has 470,000 followers on Twitter. And I have 230 followers in common. I mean, again, this is the biggest, most hyped NFT project I've seen in a while. But Brian, there's only 5,000 and their mint cost is 0.25. What do we think is going to happen, right? I know they have a big whitelist. So those people are going to be able to, get in and probably avoid gas wars, but I don't know how many are going to be left for public, if any. But I just have the feeling that floor is gonna go up significantly, and I actually respect this team a lot for keeping it at 0.25. Again, that's higher than we've seen other projects, but the last couple projects that have had this big of a following have done a much higher mint cost. So what do you think? 0.25 mint cost with this big of a following and only 5,000 supply. Was that the right call? Is it too high, too low? What are your thoughts?
It's going to probably sell out very quickly, and the floor price will be between 1 and 2 ETH within seconds of it selling out. If even if it's that low, I mean, I'm thinking higher. This one has been really hyped, and yeah, I mean, I think it'll explode. It might dip a little bit when people try to sell, get out, because if you are going to mint, one thing that I would do, again, not financial advice, if you are going to mint, try to always get multiple of them. Like, try to get more than one and do it at the same time so you don't pay ridiculous. You're not paying for one and just gas fees alone, but keep doing that. Mint more than one, and then take your profits off one of them, or try to flip at least one of them. And if you have multiple, more. But if you only buy one, don't just flip it right when you get it. I wouldn't flip it right when I got it. That's what I meant to say. So just hold it, do what you got to do, but maybe buy more than one.
Yeah, this project, I mean, again, it's so hyped. I'm looking forward to it. 0.25, I'm not on the whitelist. I don't think I have any chance of getting one. So I'll be looking at OpenSea for secondary sales. But again, I just think that they're going to be too high, pre-reveal. And, I might get priced out of this one. But the fact that it has this many followers and this big of, a community and hype, I'm still going to take a look, right, and see, So, and then Brian, on February 24th, we have Weather Report. So Weather Report, I can't remember if we've talked about on the show. It's one that I've been following for a while. Another one where people are really drawn into the artwork, right? So they announced their mint date, February 24th. I have not seen a mint price yet. Look at these images, though. Really cool, right? Really unique. And the thing with this, though, Brian, of course, as I said in the drama segment, right? They have some drama out there. The former artist took to Twitter today, released a paper saying he was let go from the project. He was promised 5% of royalties. The founders were going to get 50%. There was a huge disagreement. They stole his artwork, and the list goes on. They did a Twitter Spaces today. I don't know if the former artist was part of that Twitter Spaces, if they all cleared the air, if they came to any agreement. My guess is it was probably one-sided, but who knows? So if anyone out there listening or watching knows, let me know. But otherwise, I'll be sure to play the recording on that Twitter Spaces later tonight. But Brian, I mean, the fact that there's a little bit of FUD on this project going into the
drama
mint,
alert.
I don't love it, right? When there's other projects that we could find. But again, it should be on everyone's radar that the mint date is February 24th, and we'll definitely keep everyone updated. And then last on the list, February 26th, we have Wonder Pals minting. Wonder Pals, the wonderful artist Mina, a collection of 10,000. I mean, Brian, look at those. They're so cute. They remind me of some of these other projects. And the thing I love about this project is that when we had like Toy Boogers on and some other, they love this artist. They love the project, right? Look at that mint price. 0.08. Let's get some mints back under 0.1. I love it. This one's on my calendar, February 26th, 10,000.08. What do you think of Wonder Pals here, Brian?
Yeah, I like that. I like the price. I like the art, and I like the just the whole aesthetic, because that's kind of my style. I really like those, like the cartoony, but like the pastel colors kind of thing. I like it just on a aesthetic. Just by looking at it, that's what I like. So I'm down with them. I don't know if I'm gonna get into them yet. I gotta see more about it, but from just the way it looks, I do really like it.
Definitely. All right. Well, we're running out of time here. So I just want to recap, because that was some big projects that are coming up over the next 2 weeks. So again, today we have NFL All Day dropping packs where you get a guaranteed Super Bowl moment. Inside those packs, 4 moments, $59, 32,400 packs available. On February 20th, we have CryptoBats being able to bite another NFT project for the first time to turn into a mutant bat. Floor price on CryptoBats currently 1.25 ETH. On February 21st, we have Sneaky Vampire Syndicate launching from Sneaky Vampire Syndicate, 0.16 ETH mint price, or you can utilize your blood token for a cheaper cost. That collection, 12,545 a supply. On February 22nd, Starcatchers, 10,000 NFTs, 0.111 ETH mint price. February 23rd, Invisible Friends, 0.25 ETH, 5,000 supply. Their Discord now locked, over 700,000 followers on Twitter. February 24th, Weather Report. And then February 26th, Wonder Pals, 10,000 NFTs, 0.08. There, I got through on Brian. That was a lot to rattle off. But again, a big part we want to do of this show is, letting everyone know what projects should be on their radar and they should be looking forward to. So we'll let everyone know, if any more pop up. But Brian, one thing I do know is I saw an update from Photo Finish, the Solana based horse racing game, and I think maybe we're gonna have to talk about that on an upcoming episode and get more into some of these Solana projects, because I wrote an article about that interview with Legend, right? And there was just I listened to it again, Brian, when he named his top 5, and man, that guy is so smart. And those 5 that he named, I got to get some Solana, and I got to start getting into these projects, especially getting my stable set up in Photo Finish. So what do you think, Brian? We're going to have to buy some Solana NFTs, right?
I'm 2 steps ahead.
All right. Well, Brian, anything else to add before we wrap for the day? All right. Well, we will see everyone tomorrow, as Brian said. So take care. 2 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Again, shout out to everyone watching us live, watching us on replay, and listening in on the podcast. Be sure to smash that like, subscribe to Benzinga's YouTube channel. A big thank you to our friends at FTX for sponsoring this episode and getting that killer commercial in the Super Bowl. Shout out to Ruel in the chat right now, too. I see him there. He has a show talking crypto and NFTs on Benzinga as well. And we will catch everyone tomorrow. Stay tuned. Pre-market prep at the close coming up with Joel and Spencer breaking down all the top stories and movers of the day. Take care, everyone.